It's not your traditional estate agent.
We've probably ended up 50k better off.
Most estate agents, it's 9 till 5.
So in truth, we're worth more than what you paid us, then?
I won't go that far.
So Paul, thanks for sitting down with us. Your sale last year was genuinely one of my favourite sales of the year, but it was not without its stresses. So
No.
I appreciate you sitting down with us. I hope you don't get any PTSD.
No, it's still lingering in the mind, but it's all right. Don't worry, it's fine.
We obviously took your property on as the second agent.
Yeah.
I remember looking at the listing of your house online, and I remember saying to you, that should be selling.
Yeah.
And you had a beautiful open plan space. I'll link some footage on the top. I'm just really pleased that our process managed to get you the offer that we did, multiple offers over the asking price, and got you moved.
I remember the calls that we had where they were like, they started at a number, then brought it down, then were suggesting you bring it down further again. Yeah. And we're like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, start the other way. Yeah.
And it went the other way, and then they came off, and then we came on, and then getting into a bit of back and forth. We had 2 or 3 people that really, really wanted it, and then I'm sort of struggling to remember the final sale price compared to the advertised price. But I think we're at sort of 625, and we sold it at what, 660 or something.
Like, yeah, it was like 30 or so above, I think.
Yeah, 30 grand above, and that was more than the previous agent had it on before, and they were telling you to bring the price down. So it shows that the process works.
It was crazy actually, the difference that we were seeing in terms of that, because I always remember we put it on and you did like an open day almost, where we had numerous viewings, and when the first person that bid was a little bit higher, we were thinking, oh, we'll take that, that's brilliant. And they were in a really good position. I remember at the time we were thinking, well, we'll take them because they'd sold theirs, and we thought we were in a really good position, and then it all fell through, and then it kind of opened up again, didn't it? And it kind of almost a bidding war, I think it became.
I remember calling you.
Yeah. It's gone up again. All right, brilliant. Yeah. I don't want to hear from you unless it goes up again. No, it was like that, and it was great just to be kept in the loop as well, and because obviously then the whole process starts of what can you afford, what do you want to do. We moved in here. Chris and Sally done a great job, but we saw how we wanted the house, but that comes with additional costs. So in the back of your mind, you're also going, well, how much more do I need to borrow to make it how I want it to be? So you've got that figure in mind that you need to hit. And where we started out was nowhere near where we needed to be. To do it, it wouldn't have happened.
And then you go through the process of the negotiations, you get to the price you want, and then actually the challenges probably start then more than they start when you're negotiating and doing the viewings, because you're not only managing up and down a chain of communication with regards to estate agents you're buying from, selling through and everything else, you're also at the disposal of people committing to and holding their nerve with it as well, because there were certainly points I remember during our time where we were on the phone talking about it and you were like, if it doesn't happen tomorrow, I'm not sure we're quite going to be there.
And it's probably the most stressful thing you do, and I think it was interesting because I was dealing with you on the sale, dealing with you on the purchase, so I saw both sides of it, and we were probably a difficult buyer as well, because we did say, actually, we need to, the market's changed, we need to look at it. That's probably the worst thing we could have done at the time, to be fair. And, the way in which you managed that with Chris and Sally really helped. And they were brilliant as well, to be fair. They just come in with builders as well and all that kind of stuff. So the relationship that you built up with them allowed us to do what we needed to do in terms of getting quotes for building work and understanding how much we do need to borrow on top to make it affordable. So that was a real big thing at that point.
Yeah. And that's all down to, in truth, we've always say it, but we don't stack them high to only sell a certain percentage. We take on the houses that we take on to sell all of them, right? Because we invest so much time into making sure it works, and it's the intricacies of how that process works once you get through the process of agreeing an offer, sending out the memorandums, engaging with hopefully competent solicitors. We had our challenges with that during the process, but we got there. Again, I won't name names, but I think that just that availability for the communication, and like I was on holiday, but I still wanted to be involved in the comms, and we were having group WhatsApp calls at times that work for you, work for me, and work for Matt, so that we could all just make sure that between us we were making entirely the right decisions on how that was going to work. But then during the process, it was overcoming those challenges and almost being there to support you through it.
The communication from you guys really helped. I was on the phone. I mean, you probably got annoyed with all the WhatsApps and phone calls.
No, it's what it's there for.
And perhaps the less pleasant phone call. But it was in the run up to Christmas, and you're thinking, right, I want to get this sorted. It needs to get over the line. I've got other things I need to worry about. Where are we going to be living in January?
Yes.
Do we have a Christmas in our own house? Do we not? What little things that you don't think would even bother you?
Totally right.
But the whole stress of it all.
Yeah.
Mortgage offers running out, that was another thing.
Yes, of course it was. Yes.
Who we were buying off were going into renting, then all of a sudden they found a house.
Yeah.
And it was like...
Because that happened above the chain here as well, didn't
yeah,
it?
so they were going to go into rented because they were moving down to the coast, I think, but they found a house all of a sudden.
Yes.
And it was like, well, they're never going to get this through on time.
No.
And to be fair to them, again, fair play to them, they obviously moved into rented, but that was another thing where it's another sleepless night. You're thinking, oh God, but the communication that you had at the time just kept it going and ticking over and so on, which was really good.
That WhatsApp group then, how did that impact the sale then, from you guys sat at home having those chats?
That WhatsApp group, it was that idea, because you think that most estate agents, it's 9 till 5, and I don't expect to reply in the evening, but being able to think, I've just thought about this, I'm going to stick that on there, rather than getting a laptop out and emailing and all that kind of stuff. It was, actually, I'll stick it on there, and occasionally we were, WhatsApps were going until 9 o'clock at night. I'm not telling you to do that, but that was what was happening. And so you just say, what do I need to do here? And it was instant reply, because I've never been through it before, really. So it was all that kind of stuff that really, really helped.
Yeah. So I suppose the question I probably want to ask as well, and going back to when the marketing of the property was happening via the other estate agent, and then what happened with us, is what do you think the main differences were from their strategy to ours, and how was it luck, or was it skill, or how from your perspective, what do you think we did differently?
I don't think it was luck, far from luck. I think it was a different approach. It's not your traditional estate agent in any sense of the word. It's the idea that you're there, you're available, you came up with strategies that worked, clearly. It's the fact that you don't feel guilty ringing you up to say, I need a bit of advice, or I need some help, or actually I'm going to go this. And when we had that to and fro on this house as well, it didn't feel like I was bothering you. In actual fact, it was the other way around. You would be calling me and saying, look, what can I do? Without that hard sale, I've dealt with a number of estate agents, and they've all got their own strengths. And I think, but sometimes you might get a hard sale, you might not get a hard sale. But I think with you guys, it was the fact that you could ring you could get the advice, and you didn't feel like you were bothering you. And that, I think, was probably key. And I think the marketing, the drones, the house looked amazing when you finished with it. It was brilliant. But it was that idea that you did something a little bit different, and you're on Instagram and everything else, and that made it the videos that you do, and just a different way of marketing it, I suppose. But that approach that you had after that, I suspect some people go, I resent paying that, because it's quite a lot of money when the estate agent fees come out.
And that's the world, more expensive than most.
Yeah, but it's not just your fees; it's any estate agent's fees. When you're buying houses in the southeast, it can be quite expensive.
Yeah.
But actually, when you then look back and go, well, but it went over asking price. I got this house for what I needed it to. Yeah. Actually, then in the grand scheme of things, you think, it was all worth it. And in fact, I'm far from more than worth it in there.
So in truth, we're worth more than what you paid us, then.
I won't go that far. But it was that approach that it's just different approach.
Yeah.
And it's the openness, as I say, the WhatsApp group is something that you never expect, which is more personal than you normally get.
We'll have a beer after this and just have a quick chat afterwards. But it's nice that you still remember us for what we did and the qualities and the bits and pieces that we've introduced. But still recommend us.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to the process that you did and the way you led it was brilliant. But then we follow you on Instagram now. That's kind of what we do. Yeah. And your videos are great. I mean, when you're losing drones and everything else, it's brilliant. Every week that lost love. When you look at it, it's that idea that you kind of gone through that whole process together, and now you know who you are and what makes you tick, even down to you've got a baby and all that. You kind of get to know the person. With you, you've got to know you on more of a personal level, which has helped all the way through.
All right, well look, we'll wrap up there. I appreciate your time, Paul.
Pleasure.
Yeah. And
we'll have a bit now, yeah?
Yeah. Give us a call when you're ready to sell it.
Yeah, that'll be what. Yeah, you won't be working then, I don't think.